Hello, hello, and welcome back to Cities Skylines with Splatt. We're starting off our episode today next to this beautiful new aquatic center that I've put in our city. I needed to get my university area up to 5 stars, and we were lacking just a little bit of attractiveness, and so one of the ways you can do that is by adding more collegiate sports. I went ahead and put in a swimming team area here with a couple of public pools people can enjoy, and I've just turned it into a nice, relaxing park plaza area where people can come and have a nice time with their families, and they can also come and cheer on our Odyssey Spartan swim team, which, surprisingly enough, has won quite a few games. Today's episode is going to be a little bit of a short one, as I'm hoping to keep this pretty sweet and to the point. We have a population of 56,000. It's been hovering around there, going up and down just a little bit, and I would love to get my population up over 70,000. My goal is to hit 75,000, and to do that, we're going to have to put in some high density residential. You can see that I have already started a little bit over here across from the Aquatics Center, and I want to continue on with this by filling up this square right here, this square right here, and the last of this square right here in order to get my population up. Because if you look at the city stats by Vitals here, using the Vitals mod, you will see that I'm currently at 99% employment. That's great for the people of my town because everybody has a job, but it's not so great for the businesses because nobody can find people to work. All of my industries and things are lacking workers, so I need more population to support more things in my city. One of the things that we're going to have to think about is this rail line that comes through the city and services things farther up. I don't want this to be a problem for the people who live there, and I want to try to keep the noise down. So we're going to have to design some kind of buffer here in order to keep that out of everybody's hair, and we're also going to have to make it so that they're not staring at this ugly ore industry behind them. So that's going to require a little bit of detailing and creative thought to do that. One other thing that I wanted to think about is that I used to live in an area that had a lot of high density residential. There were a lot of apartment complexes. It was a very dense place. But one of the things that was really neat was that there was actually a modern art museum with a park near where we used to live. And you could go there and relax, and it was a great way to enjoy the community. I was going through the unique buildings, and I noticed that there is a modern art museum here as well. And I would love to incorporate this into the design. I'm thinking like right here, perhaps, closer to the train tracks maybe, so that the noise doesn't bother anybody, but really the noise is not too bad. But I'm thinking about just putting it right here and putting a little park around it, and then having some nice upper class high residential buildings around. We'll probably use a similar theme to the one that we used up here on the hill to see if we can get some of these fancier buildings to come in. But all in all, I think this is going to be a great build, and we're going to be able to get our population up to 75,000. So let's go ahead and crack on and see if we can do that. We got to make this quick because I don't want this video to be too terribly long. Here we go. So getting started with this, we're going to have to put our roads in. And the first thing that I'm going to do is run a road alongside this rail line because I do not want to have buildings up against it. I want to have a little bit of space so that they don't need to hear the noise of what's going on. And I think the best way to do that is just to have a road running parallel to the train tracks, and I can put a fence on the other side. So we're going to run this around just like this. Let's go straight now. That. And on the other side, we're going to do the same thing. Now, when I put this in, I didn't really plan ahead very well. So I think we're going to actually have to demolish a few of these buildings and push this road back just a little bit because I want to have this road running parallel again to the train tracks. So that's going to require just a little bit of moving things around, but it shouldn't be too bad. I remember when I was a kid, there was a road that followed the train tracks, well, a highway that followed the train tracks near where I lived, and we used to drive along, and sometimes we would see the trains. You'd always ask your dad, hurry up! Race the train, Dad, race the train. It's going to be really cool. And, sometimes my dad would play along, sometimes not. We might want to raise this up and see if we can get these roads to pass underneath it. Let's see if we can get away with that now. Nope, space is already occupied. That's not going to happen. This does need to come out though. And we're going to connect this together. Just curve it in. No, I don't like that. We're not going to curve it in. I want it to be straight. Yep, like that. And then I'm going to continue on this way. That'll work. I went out and took out some of these roads because I actually think that I want to cross the train track here where this triangle is. I'm just going to build an overpass that goes along parallel to the train tracks and connects over there. So we're just going to grab ourselves some road here. We're going to switch to that view. We're going to click here. We're going to go page up. And let's turn this off so we can keep it parallel as best we can. That'll work. And we're just going to come straight across to there. And then we're just going to connect in like that. And then people can get up and over the train tracks. I hope those are high enough. I think I need to raise my road just a touch. So let's do that with the old move it mod because the trains are not going to make it underneath that. There we go. That'll work. And then all we have to do is bring these in to connect over there. So grab ourselves our road, turn on the old curvy roads, and yeah, let's just bend this into something like this. That'll work. And we'll do the same thing over here. We're just gonna come off a bit of road. We're gonna come up here and then we're gonna turn on our curves and we're going to come over here and just connect back into that. We'll do a little bit of moving just to kind of smooth this out. But I think all in all, it's gonna be just fine and dandy. All right, so I'll come back and fix that later. So we're gonna cross over the train tracks back there. And I think I also wanna have a train track crossing that is closer up here as well. And that's gonna go over these roads. So let's grab our roads and we're gonna switch on over. Yep, okay, we're good. We're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that train track crossing is going to go, yeah, that's as good a spot as any. That. And then we're gonna go push the home button, bring it on out, push the home button, and bring it on out. And that is going to get people up and over the train tracks on that side too. So it gets people plenty of chances to go back and forth. And there's also sidewalks so people can walk. I love it. Let's run this along this road here. So we're gonna run a frontage road like that. I think I want that to actually go to there. Let me take this out. Let me do that again. I want to actually do that. Then, all right, and then we just got to use our move it mod. We have this tool. Well, let's make use of it. Yeah. How's that look? Let's do that. Okay, let me throw the rest of these roads in and we will continue on. So let me introduce you to what I have done here. We have gone ahead and put in roads and everything to get our new high density residential area put together. And I think it is going to work out really well. I went ahead and threw in lots of parks everywhere just to make sure that everybody's going to be happy. I went ahead and put in lots of education. You get this big, nice, humongous Manassas High School, which is kind of cool, which takes a lot of students. Got police stations, got fire stations. I went ahead and blocked off the railway around with the zoo fence and a line of trees just to keep that away from the residential area and try to reduce the noise and the sightliness of it. For the park over here, or industry, there is a raised berm now that separates that from the rest of the residential area, which hopefully is going to cut back on noise. And then in order to try to reduce traffic as much as possible, I have walkways going across in lots of different places to try to connect everything via footpaths so that people don't have to drive quite as much. I know that this whole area is going to cause a traffic problem when it starts to fill in. And in another episode, we're going to come in and rework our public transit and put in subways and that kind of thing. But this is just what I'm going to have to do to get my population up over 70,000. And I went ahead and added in this modern art building with a parking lot across the street and some decorations around it. And I think it's going to be a nice central piece to our area here. So it's all zoned in, everything is good to go. So the only thing we have left to do now is to fire this thing up and see what happens when it fills in. So let's go ahead and do that. So it looks like after letting our high density residential area fill in quite a bit, we have gained about 10 to 15,000 more people, but we are still shy of 70,000. So we're going to have to do a little bit more to expand our population in order to get up to that 70 to 75,000 range that I am hoping to hit. And that means we are going to be using this square right here to add a little bit more residential, but this time what I want to do is something a little bit different. I saw something on Reddit that I would like to try, and I think this is going to be an amazing addition to our town. So hang with me and I'll show you what it is that I plan to do. So my idea is that I would like to fill in this area with a neighborhood full of cul-de-sacs. I was on Reddit the other day and I saw a post by a guy named Dunes58 that had a really neat video showing how he had made some cul-de-sacs in his neighborhood that I thought just looked really, really nice. So from what I would understand is he would put down a road and then he would grab the node controller and he would put a node as close to the end as he could, like so. He would then select that node using the node controller. And using the stretch option, he would expand it out by maybe 100% or something. So give it up to like 200%. Let's just see what that looks like. And then you come in at the end and you delete that last little tip off. And you have what kind of looks like a cul-de-sac, which you could really stretch this out and make it look quite bulby and round. Yeah, something like that. And then you can take your node controller. You could grab this guy. You could do, not shift. What am I looking for here? Not slow. There we go. And you can go to bend, and then you could squeeze this up. And you can kind of make what looks like a cul-de-sac that you could put houses on. And I think this would look really, really cool. So imagine if we put these ranch-style suburban homes on our cul-de-sacs, how cool looking that would be. So I'm going to go ahead and try to throw this together and see what I can come up with and see if I could build something that looks nice and can bring our population. Oh, hey, look at that. We did hit 70,000. I wasn't even paying attention. So let's see if this new, so let me put that in and see if we can get our population up to 75,000, which is what we were hoping for. So this is what I'm coming up with so far. It's really hard to get all of the cul-de-sacs lined up exactly the way I want them, and none of them are going to look exactly the same because of the way that I have to create them. But I think that the sum of all the parts is going to be greater than the whole, as Simon Green likes to say. And if I get these in and I get pathways put in and I get houses to grow, I think these are going to look okay. So I'm just going to go through the rest of this area, alternating these cul-de-sacs back and forth. And let me show you basically how I'm making these things. So I'm using my node controller here, Renewal, and I'm just creating a node close to the end of the road. I then change it to a I change it to a middle piece, and I change the stretch value up to 300%, which causes that to flare out. I then chop this little piece off the end, and it gives me a little bit of a bubble shape. If I go back into the node just behind it and change that to a stretched node, I then have the ability to adjust some of the attributes here and there, and it kind of creates a little bit of a cul-de-sac look. So when I'm done with that, I then turn on my zoning and I grab my move it mod, and I just grab this thing and pull it back so that whatever gets built on this road is going to line up. I haven't been able to figure out how to get any zoning over here, and I don't think I'm going to be able to. So I'm just doing my best trying to get this to work out. And then I kind of move this around to get it to smooth out, and there we go. I have a cul-de-sac. So let me go through and put the rest of these in, and we will get things zoned up with water, and I'll put some parks and some schools and things in over here. And we will start getting houses put in. I don't know if I want to wait for houses to move in or if I want to use like Rico and try to just build this thing, but it would look better, I think, if I was able to just use the theme. So we'll see what happens. I'll be right back. Okay, so I've got all the cul-de-sacs built. I've got everything zoned in, and I am really curious what this is going to look like because I've never done this before, and I have no idea if this is actually going to work. So let's crank this thing up, let's get it running, and let's find out what happens. $79, $75, 25 more to go, 24 more to go. Come on. Oh, it went down. Come on. Up. 82. Hey, we hit it. 75,000 people, baby. We have finally gotten our population up to where we wanted to go. And it only took a couple of little residential builds on this short and sweet episode. And if you look down here for the first time since I think I started this city, we actually have a little bit of demand for industry. So that means our population and our industry and our commercial are finally balancing out. Our employment percentage is still at 99%. Everybody in town has a job, but we are finally getting some industrial demand in our city thanks to these wonderful little builds here. And I have to say that the cul-de-sac thing, it's a little too early to tell if I like it a lot because it's still got all these construction sites, but where the houses are popping in, like for example, over here, it is kind of starting to look neat. I think it's gonna have a very nice look to it once these get in. I'm gonna have to bring in the move it mod maybe and move these things around so they're not overlapping because I made the road such a weird size. But yeah, I think this cul-de-sac thing is gonna work out really, really well. So we're gonna watch this for a while, see what happens when these houses upgrade and they actually start looking like normal residential homes like these over here. And yeah, we'll come back and check this out. But for now, I am so incredibly thrilled to have this place up to 75,000 population. It was really added a lot to the city. I mean, we had basically everything from these two swimming pools over is what we just put into the city. And it really gives the city a much more fuller look. It's hard to imagine how far we've come. When we started out, we were just like this little tiny area here, and now we've expanded all over this main area inside the three rivers. But yeah, 75,000 people, we did it. And we're just gonna keep climbing. So thank you so much for coming along in this short little sweet episode as we put in some high density residential and we put in this neat little cul-de-sac area in an attempt to get up to 75,000 people, which we finally did. And I think that's gonna do it for today. So if you like this, hit that thumbs up, subscribe so you don't miss any further episodes, and let me know if you like the shorter format or if you want these videos to be longer in the future. I'm kind of experimenting between like a half-hour 30-minute video and maybe these shorter little 15 to 20-minute videos, and I'm just not sure what people enjoy more, so let me know. I appreciate the feedback. It just helps me understand what makes you guys happier, because that's why I do this. It's for you to enjoy and for you to be happy with. So thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I'll catch you guys later.